everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Rugby with Pads. I'm your host, Sam, and today we're doing a bit of a league tour. We do this every year, just before the league starts, before pre-season starts, I guess, as well. And we take a look at the leagues that I'm going to talk about you a little bit, because throughout the season, we try and build these stories. We try and build these heroes, these villains out of all of these leagues, and let's set some standards. And here we're going to talk about the leagues we're going to be interested in. Now, these are all my leagues that I want you to know about. I mean, too many more, but I think these are the ones that have something different about them, something interesting, and that are going to give me something to come back to and talk to you about something new in each of them. You know, my approach is going to change to each of these based on the style. But without further ado, let's have a look and get into them, shall we? The first one is one of my most treasured leagues. It's my first Dynasty league. It is the quest for the 8th ring. This is the one where in previous years I have won it. I won it the first year, coming in hot out of the gates with a team built to win, and then subsequently failed. Last year was a difficult year. 2024, going for quite a while now. Last year, I did make it into the playoffs. Did I? No, I didn't. I failed to make it into the playoffs, in fact. I made it into the toilet bowl, which is a bit of a shame. I think I just narrowly missed out. If I look at the actual league, I'm going to probably have painful memories here. Yeah, 8 and 6 last year. Just failed to get out of this on points 4. That's really annoying. I just failed by about 70 points here. But the guy who went and won it wasn't even that guy. It was Dan. So he had a 10 and 4 season. He was very dominant. Tim, who is Gronk Smash, who has always been in the hunt, was unfortunate to miss out in the final, miss out on the final, and Dan instead beat Alex in the final this year. But we have a really good team this year. I'm really happy with it. If we take a look at my team at the moment, this is a 2-quarterback league. Well, super flex, so it might as well be 2-quarterback. Lamar Jackson, Justin Herbert. I did some postseason stuff where I shimmied my team around a little bit. I've previously traded for Aaron Rodgers. Didn't work out last year, but hopefully this year he will be the last stand. And you know, it's a bit of a sunken cost across that. My running backs are where it's at, I believe. Jameer Gibbs and Devon A. Chan, who I'm temporary expectations on this year, but I'm really, really happy with having him. I got picked up RJ Harvey in the offseason. Also, Zach Charbonnet, I'm really happy with that as well. I'm relatively thin at running back, but I'm not too fussed about that as well. At wide receiver is, the key to my team, has been for a number of years. Puka Nacua is great. Last year picked up Lav McConkey. I've got Khalil Shakir, who I like. Debo Samuel again, who's useful. I've got Jordan Whittington from the bench. I've got, unfortunately, Godwin on IR at the moment. Hopefully he'll be back in time for the season. But again, a decent amount of guys there. Jack Betch, who could be interesting. Let's see if the training camp stories work out in his favour, I hope. Yeah, I guess. And at tight end, again, I'm really relatively comfy with it. Obviously, I had regression candidate Mark Andrews in here as well. I have got his replacement, or his to-be replacement, Isaiah Likely. We'll probably see both of them having some value as well. You can play up to 3 tight ends in this one, up to 4 if you use your Superflex for it as well. But this year, we've added kickers, because Dan, whoever gets to whoever wins the league gets to add a rule next year. Last year, I can't remember the exact rule. I think we had wild card rules that Ed set. So, twice a season, you could set your best lineup. And it would basically be a best ball rule. You'd have to name it in advance if you're going up against a top matchup. But this year, kickers were announced. So you have to roster 2 kickers. I have Jake Bates, hoping to stack against Jameer Gibbs there, and I have Joshua Carty hoping to stack against Puka Nacua. 2 young guys. This is Dynasty, so we probably will end up keeping that rule, and things do stay unless they're special rules that we decide that aren't quite fitting. We previously had, you've got to play rookies in rookie slots, so you can't just not have any, or otherwise they'd be forced into your lineup. And again, last year we had the best ball. I think looking at the rest of the league, I feel relatively comfortable. We had a bit of a realignment of the divisions last year. We called them East and West before. Now we're at NFC and AFC. The current NFC led the charge. I think any of the 5 teams would have won the the other division based on wins and losses last year. This year we have it slightly differently. We aligned it to have a more of a seeding structure, so it was fairer on everyone and it evened out the leagues a little bit. So the best teams didn't lose out, and the best teams could actually get through rather than coming in fourth. And this sounds like a sob story for me, and it pretty much was. But the fact is, 2 teams that could have been in on record weren't, and it should be a league of parity, and that's what we've tried to do. Alex made the final last year. I've got Boz in there as well. Dan, who won it last year, and Kristen coming in from the other side as well. I think it's a pretty tough division. Do I think I'm in the top 3? John, who has won it before, Ed, who has won it before, Tim, who is perpetually out there, the top 3 guys, and Matt, who is in a rebuild year. So again, we've got 3 contenders, you would say, in each one, and maybe 2 rebuilds. So interesting to see how it goes. And if we kind of compare the stats as well, and on YouTube you'll see we're using Fantasy Football Ranker for this. I think it's quite a nice, neat thing to aggregate everything. If we look at my team, I'm pretty high on the quarterback side of things, pretty happy with that. I think I'm number 1 in heat map on running backs. Wide receivers pretty good. Tight ends could use a little bit of help. I'm hoping that Isaiah Likely value will come up there, and he kind of look here, 5th in tight end, 5th in wide receiver, 4th in tight end. It's pretty good. Looks like Boz is going to run away with it according to this. I'm ranked 4th in this one, but we'll have to see there. Boz has got a fantastic little team there. I really do enjoy his team. Jaden Daniels, Bryce Young, Tua Tagovailoa, Andy Dalton. Ooh, less to be like there, but highly rated Bucky Irving and Trevion Henderson. These are based on dynasty stats, not on redraft stats. You can change the redraft rankings, and if you do that, I fall quite low for some reason. I don't know why I fall quite so low. Generally, we've got young teams, but we've got assets, and I think going via dynasty rankings actually makes a bit more sense in dynasty, because we all use picks to draft the right players at the right time. Trade for the right players at the right times, and obviously draft as well. If you looked at with picks as well, I'll go full team without picks. That's what I want to do. Again, I'm still kicking around in 4th. If you look at the full team with picks, I've given up a few. There are some players who have a stupid amount of picks in the next couple of years, so we'll see how that works out for them. But yeah, I think I'm going to be a competitor this season. Yeah, and again, for most fantasy football teams, you want to make it to the playoffs and see what happens from there. In another league, this is a second year of a league that was really interesting, franchise mode. There is so many spreadsheets powering this, but long and short of it, we have it where you have a salary cap. You've got to spend against that. People who've spent over the salary cap get penalties the next year, and you can only have so many players. Players have contracts that you have to renew for more money, and there's rules around that one. But I made some moves. This is a single quarterback league, but multi tight end league. So you've got to play at least 2 tight ends, 1 running back, 2 wide receivers. So it's meant to mimic more of a day lineup. Obviously, we don't have O linemen in there, and we've got a bunch of flex players. But what we do have is defensive players and kickers as well. 4 IDP slots for general play, so a flex IDP. You have a DL, a linebacker, and a defensive back as well as your kicker as well. I'm really happy with this lineup. I traded for Joe Burrow. This is not a league that necessarily rewards running quarterbacks more so. It definitely accuracy is in the rule sets is really important, and Joe Burrow, with his touchdown numbers, I can see that being really good. I'm not really happy with my running back situation. I do have Anthony Richardson and Aaron Rodgers again. I just love having them apparently, and a couple of other players in the background. I think I do have drafted in the background Jalen Milroe for future years as well. I'm building a dynasty here. I came close to the Zenith last year. I think I came 4th, and if you look road so high, it puts me in the kind of lower middle of the pack. It says I've not got fantastic players when it comes to my overall Running back is very much a weak spot. I'm living with Brees Hall, but you only have one running back you need to play. I've got Kamara in the back as well, who can do some good things, and I'm really high on them this year. I've got some, duffs with Chubb, who I've got on a contract that I can't really shift as well. But I think I can do something here, and I've still got enough room in my salary cap to pick up some free agents, although there aren't really that many to be aware of. There's going to be teams who are going to be shifting their setup a little bit. With this one, because of the IDP, I really can't predict who's going to win. There was very much the haves and have-nots last year who got it, and I think this year very much it's been readdressed in free agency. We have a full auction free agency and draft as well for rookies, 7-round draft pick. This is a pretty intense league, 12-person. Top 6 go through into the playoffs. We're just going to have to see how it goes. And I think this is a test of being able to read everything around a game script day and everything about what's going to happen to your team, all the players, all down to the defense. And I'm pretty confident that I've got a good handle on what's going to happen there. Next league is another league, that a very different league, again, that I'm going to introduce you to, a Devi league. This is the first year I've played Devi. I was invited to take a orphaned team who was poor. Wow, it was really bad. If you have a look at some of the transactions that have been made, I've got rid of so many players. I've traded for some more. I have already a Devi lineup. And Devi, for those of you who don't know, sorry, I shouldn't have presumed that. Devi is not Debbie misspelt, but it is development players. So you actually draft majority of your rookies from college. So Arch Manning. No. Arch Manning was drafted out of high school. So the players who are going to be generationally good and you know about and you hear about, they're already drafted. So you've got to do some scouting in the college ranks. Something that I'm not used to and something that I haven't really done outside of scanning the rookies that are coming in after the NFL draft. This is pre. This is for true degenerates. And it's something that I wanted to do to get myself, I'm not that northern, myself back into college football as well. I do not have a hope with this team. I'm not going to put it out there. It is 2 quarterback. I've got Michael Penix. I've got some pieces there. Sam Darnold, stopgap this year. Josh Jacobs, who I think is going to be trade bait, but I need to have something there. But everyone else is just no one. And I've definitely going to be looking to tank this year. I've got some pieces in the future. Jalen Milroe, Sanders, if he ever comes good. I'm really happy about having Charbonnet on the team there. He was someone I really scouted for. But you can see I've got a lot of youth on this team. Tesla, Dyke, or DK, or whatever I want to call him. Thornton, Austin, Gadsden, Taylor. Isaiah Likely, again, another pickup that I'm really happy with. So I've got, definitely in Dynasty, I favour some players. I think this is a league where if I get 2 wins, I'll be happy. And if that's the case, I will probably end up the one I won, both for Devi and for the regular one, which is effectively like we do have a regular rookie draft for those who've slipped through the college selection process or who potentially only broke out in their last year. It does not rate me to do anything well. I'm second to bottom on this as well. Obviously, it doesn't take into account all of the Devi picks of a stat, but you can see I have not got a QB room. And if you look at the top guy here, shooting the breeze here, Jaden Daniels, Joe Burrow, Drake May, Superflex, he's going to have a great team. Brian Thomas Jr., Rashee Rice, Devontae Smith. This guy has curated a beautiful team, and it's very, very impressive. And he's got lots of firsts coming into the next few years as well, so he's going to be doing very well out of that. Whereas, I'm going to be languishing down in the end, down in the deeps. There are some people who've fully tanked and just gone all in on future Devi picks, but I'm not quite gone there. I'm going down the middle a little bit, and we'll see what comes out there. Unfortunately, I can't show you my my team for the JTTC, which is a charity cup. You'll probably see me tweeting about it a little bit. I've tweeted out my team as well, but I'll show you it on here as well. I'm really happy with this, and this is another team that I'll be interested in following. It's best ball. It's for charity as well. Let me have a look at my team here. I'm pretty chuffed with it. It is super flex as well, so we've got to make sure we pay mind to that one. But I got Lamar Jackson early on. I focused very much on stacking. Christian McCaffrey, I think, is going to have a fantastic year. Garrett Wilson, again, not my strongest wide receiver, but it's tight end premium and heavy tight end premium as well. So Trey McBride was a very obvious pick in the second round for me. I've also got Jaden Waddle in flex positions here, Rashad White, DJ Moore, Lab McConkey, Adam Thielen. I don't know how he snuck up there, but I've got James Conner, J.K. Dobbins, Chase Brown, Darnell Mooney, Isaiah Likely, other players that I like. Let's have a look here. I've got some depth here. Michael Penix is actually my second quarterback there, but I've also got Tua Tagovailoa, who they rate higher as well. Mason Taylor, Mac Jones, should anything happen to them, and you're going really into the muddy waters here. Hollywood Brown could be a really interesting player for best ball as well. Carl Williams, Dante Thornton, again, going for players who I think might make splash plays. Really interesting to see how that works out. It's rated me about fourth in there. Anything can happen in best ball because the team size are so big. Just got to see what goes on. I am also in a ESPN money tournament as well. It's the Gridiron Gauntlet. I think you get 3 free entries. I just did the one because it's funny and playing with strangers, so I'm not too worried about this one. It's a standard 10-man head-to-head points, 10 teams, points per reception. Again, I'm kicking around in fourth. Jamal, you're not entertained. If we take a look at my team, if I can have a look at my team, I don't even know how to use the ESPN website sometimes. I'm pretty happy with how I drafted. I started out at the 101, so of course you're going to draft Jamar Chase. Tucker Kraft came later. Josh Jacobs was my RB1. Brian Robinson, I left RB a bit late because I got Lab McConkey early on, so RB was a little bit of an afterthought for me here. Marvin Harrison Jr., I've stacked up on interesting trade pieces as well. Jackson Smith and Jigba, who I think will start off better than Marvin Harrison Jr. while he works his way up there. But I've got the stack with Kyler Murray. I'm very heavy on stacks this year. I'm interested to see how they come out as well. But again, Isaiah Likely, Jalen Warren, some players that you always see, and Chris Godwin, of course. I love having a little piece of him, even though he is currently not going to be doing too well on the pup list. I do have one that hasn't drafted yet. I was hoping it would be drafted now. I've got an 8-man points per reception league. This is full of newbies and relative I'd say intermediate players as well. Small league, and it's interesting to have small leagues as well because you get such good competition when it comes to high value players. And I think, funnily enough, it's where you can actually get some trades done because you're not trading bad for good, you're trading good for good generally. So I will be keeping an eye on that one. That's fish, chips, and field goals. Have the most epic logo. Hopefully the logo is actually on the website. Oh, it's not, unfortunately, but I'll have to show you that or post it on socials at some point. Love the logo. So thank you very much for having me into that league. Very happy to be there as well. I also have the standard fantasy league as well. I need to log into that, but this is going to be my, I've already shown you the keeper league. I'm keeping Jaden Daniels. It's going to be really interesting. It's going to be really fun just to have him and build around him. I'm drafting from the 10 slot. You know who I'm going to go for. It's going to be Christian McCaffrey. If it's not, it's all going to fall apart. And you know what? There'll be more on that in a couple of episodes' time when I take a look at your perfect draft, because I think I've got a plan for the perfect draft for that team. A new league that I'm going to be in, I've just been invited recently to scratch the dynasty itch without going full dynasty, is a multi-keeper league. And I said I've got a keeper league as my main league, my home league, the one I've won this beautiful trophy twice for. It's always in front of me, but the Denzel Washington Keeper League is going to be really interesting, and it's an interesting roster setup. It's one QB, 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, tight end, flex, and then 2 wide receiver running back flexes, or 3 of those, and a defense. So no kickers, which is fortunate. You don't actually get that much of bench. I think you only get 5 bench slots, so it's 17 spots in total. Tricky thing is with this is when you want to keep a player, you can keep up to 5. They go up around. So let's say I want to keep Patrick Mahomes. Okay, let's have a look at him. Where did he draft last year? And bear in mind, I'd have to give up a second for Patrick Mahomes. Is that where I rank him? Is the value there? I don't really know. If I want to keep Jonathan Taylor, okay, great running back. I'd have to keep a first for him. So I'm looking at value, and it's like, do I see the value being there? The only guy I could see on this lineup who I really see as being a value in, and drafting above his or drafting behind his ADP, Garrett Wilson. I'm effectively going to be drafting him in the 7th round, and I think that's the reason why this player or this team was orphaned. They'd lost and come dead last 4 years in a row and hadn't managed to build anything good. I just don't think they got the concept, unfortunately. And sorry if you're listening to this and you hear it, but your team was a bit rubbish, mate. Yeah, you had some players. You had Mark Andrews, but to get Mark Andrews, I would have to give up another first. And what would happen is that I would give up a first, second, third, fourth. I wouldn't be drafted to the fifth round and have a team of guys that I don't want to be carrying forward. Yeah, I could be a bit more competitive, but I think it's a case of sacking it this year, trying to find some guys in the draft and see what's happened. Now, I'm drafting from first. It's going to be really interesting. And what I wanted to do today is take a look at, all right, what's everyone actually going to do? And fun enough, some people have already put their locks in, so that they are actually confirmed. I put a couple more in that I thought people might consider as well, make it a bit more challenging for me. It all gets confirmed on the 15th of August. But for the time being, I thought, well, why not? Let's have a look at how this draft actually works and see what's going on here, because with the pool so shortened, I mean, my team, I've taken Garrett Wilson in the 7th round. I've put, the other teams, team 2 here, taking Bowers in the 5th. Great buy there. He's not a strong buy in the 2nd, but in the 5th. Malik Neighbours in the 1st. Bucky Irving in the 15th. Kyron Williams in the 16th over here. Brock Purdy in the 15th. A.K.A. in the 13th. This team is stacked. He's taken A-Chan, Khalil Shakir, Purdy, and Brown back to back in those rounds. I've got a team taking Jefferson, Amon Ross and Brown, Lab McConkey. So this is a really, really much thinner draft. So I thought, well, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to challenge myself and see what happens. We'll come back and do this again close to the time. I'll always do a mock draft of each of these leagues just before as well. But I thought, for the first time, let's see what happens. We'll get a time for this, which is quite nice. But let's take a look at what's what. And I think in the 101, the options that I'm being given are Ashton Genty, Nico Collins, and bear in mind this is a pseudo dynasty league, and you think none of these guys have round one potential. That's because all your round 1 players are taken in the round 5 and 6 and stuff like that. So I'm going to have to take Ashton Genty because he's going to be someone I ride with. Nico Collins goes off the board. Christian McCaffrey goes off the board there. Jonathan Taylor, I think Chris McCaffrey is already off the board. AJ Brown though, and I'm left in the 2nd round with picking players who I don't particularly like, and I'm just having to think, I'm going to have to build a team that I think could be something in the future. And if I want to do that, because I'm at the turn, I'm actually thinking about how do I suppress the value of players that I want to keep in the future. I mean, Joe Burrow here isn't worth a second. You wouldn't have thought, because Patrick Mahomes wasn't worth the first. But I've got Ashton Genty. So, who do I think is going to have a better season? Joe Burrow? Yeah, I think he is. That could be an interesting spot here. Do I want to go later and see if I can get someone like Justin Fields maybe to match up with Garrett Wilson? This isn't going to be a huge winning, but I want to be competitive at least, because there's always a chance, because this is close to redraft. It's kind of sitting in both worlds. But who do I like? Who I could maybe have value going up? Obviously, Mike Evans, his value is not going to go up. It's going to go down as it goes through the years. But Amarian Hampton's calling out to me. That's a really interesting spot, because having a running back pairing, a young running back pairing tied. Yes, you'd be tied to your 1st and 2nd round at this point. But yeah, it could be interesting. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take Joe Burrow. Am I going to take Joe Burrow? No, I'm going to take Mike Evans on this one. I'm going to run late on the quarterback, and I'm going to take Amarian Hampton because no one else there really screams that they're going to level up in value. Rookies are though, and take him there. So starting out, Ashton Genty, Mike Evans, Amarian Hampton. I've got Garrett Wilson in the back as well. Who else goes? Rashee Rice goes. Metcalf goes. DJ Moore goes, Chuba Hubbard, Connor, and this is bearing in mind the 4th round. You're getting players who you wouldn't draft until the 7th, 8th, 9th as well, because people are taken already. And who's that leaving with? Oh, okay. I've got an option RJ Harvey here. Do I stick with youth? I've got to fill out. Do I have to fill out a couple of running back slots? Yeah, I do. I've got to fill out more wide receiver slots. I'm interested in some late round players. Again, I'm taking a look at players who I think could be interesting and give me a chance to do something good as well. I like the idea of having Baker at the moment. Now I've got Mike Evans. I think he's probably a little bit better than some of the options around them. Bo Nix I quite like the option of, but again, do I think he's going to be worth a 4th or 5th round pick next year? Probably not, but RJ Harvey could be. Running backs are running backs. So what I'm going to do is actually take a player who I'm probably not going to pick up next year. Someone who I highly seek value in as well. I'm going to pick up Travis Kelce. And then I'm going to pick up who it looks like someone else has actually, if you look at here, it's got a lock there. It looks like someone else has actually locked him. So it's interesting. I'm guessing these and I'm getting them right sometimes. And I'm going to pick up RJ Harvey. So, 3 running backs, to kind of anchor my team, all rookies for next year potentially. That would be really interesting going into next year if I was able to collect those guys. The team as it stands isn't looking that pretty. Ashton Genty is a good RB1. You'd be happy to take him. Would you be happy to take him in 101? Probably not. And it comes back to me, and I am going to pick up Baker Mayfield, just to have him there. I get Garrett Wilson. So my team so far: Baker Mayfield, tied with Garrett Wilson, Mike Evans, Ashton Genty, Amarian Hampton, Travis Kelce, RJ Harvey in the flex spots there. I'm liking this team already, actually. And now I'm thinking about players who I potentially want to have next year. And it is a tight end premium league, and you are allowed to play more than one tight end. Tyler Warren is really interesting. Colston Loveland, who do I think is going to be better out of the two? And weirdly, in this position, the one you think is going to be better out of the two, you want to take later. So I'm actually going to spin it on my head a little bit here. Do I think either of those? I think probably Colston Loveland has the ability to be a bit better down the line. Is there any other players I want to have as keepers? You've got to kind of get in that mentality of it not being truly dynasty or truly redraft. Is a bit of both, but I'm going to take Tyler Warren and followed by Colston Loveland here, and that's probably my last foray into into tight end world. And now I'm just looking for value wherever I can find it. If Zach Charbonnet was to come back, which he doesn't, I'd love to have him as 10th round potentially. That would be really interesting. Staring at Rashad White. Every time I stare at a name, it goes away. But I just need to get some wide receivers now, and I think I've got enough guys. But let's look at guys who I think can make an impact in future years. Jack Betch, is going to make an impact this year? Possibly not, and not early on anyway. Hollywood Brown, probably not as well. But who do I stay competitive with? Christian Kirk could be interesting, but I'm going to take someone who I think, I'm going to take a couple of guys who I think might be interesting moving forwards. I'm going to take, Rashad Bateman has got a lot of chat around him, but I'm going to be taking Adam Thielen for the PPR and the player who I would potentially keep out of this pairing, Jack Betch. I'm going to have to take Jack Betch second because if he goes up next year, he'll only be worth a 10th, not a 9th. And that's the way I'm kind of going into this one. I probably want a young quarterback as well. I like the idea of Penix here potentially. I'll probably take him a little bit later. No, actually, he's kind of coming up now. Fun enough, he does come up right now in the ADP. I like him as an option, so I'm going to take him second again. If I can next year get a cheap, a cheap on the relative scheme quarterback, that'd be really interesting for me. I need to fill out the rest of my flex spots as well. There's no one here really jumping out of here. DeAndre Hopkins, maybe Dante Thornton. And I'm throwing stuff at the wall here. I like Pat Bryant as well. Having a look at all the other teams, they've pretty much filled out their quarterback slots except Team 11, who've taken Cam Ward. So they're probably going to look to take some more. I'm going to take from a wide receiver perspective, Quentin Johnson, is he going to do something? Maybe he'll do something, and I'll take Michael Penix as well. Then it comes back to me to have another thought in a second. These drafts go so quickly because there's so many players already taken. Unfortunately, the likes of Jaden Daniels is in the 12th round, so I can't even contemplate saying him. This is very much a draft that you should watch on YouTube, by the way. It makes much more sense when you see how many players I can't draft. I would have loved to get Mason Taylor there, but unfortunately he's gone as well. But Pat Bryant does fall to me. I'm really interested in him. I'm just thinking, is there someone else I want to take above him that can still play a role? Jalen Noel is an interesting one. I'll pick him up, and I'll pick up Pat Bryant as well. Again, thinking about players I want to play next year. And for the last pick, fun enough, I'm going to go for my, again, if you looked at any of my other draft strategy videos as well, I'm going to pick the the defense first. I'm just going to pick any defense. I'll pick up the 49ers and then my player, because again, you want to depress that value as much as possible so you've got future value. Although nothing is looking good here. Everyone looks rubbish. Yes, I'll pick up Darren Waller in the 17th. I don't think so. I do want a rookie, so let's have a quick look at rookies. Arroyo, no. Royals could be interesting. Shedeur Sanders could always be interesting. And this is I'm going to pick up Isaac Tesla because I think he could be interesting. So not a great team. And again, this is going to be a really tough team to rebuild because I don't actually have that many assets. And I'm thinking it's going to be another one of those years where if I pick up a few wins, I'll be really happy. But this just seems like a relatively competitive team on paper. But then you compare it to some of the other guys and you just think, how am I even going to survive? I've got Baker Mayfield, Ashton Genty, Amarian Hampton, Mike Evans, Garrett Wilson, Adam Thielen, Travis Kelce, RJ Harvey, Jack Betch, Quentin Johnson. It gets messy down in there as well. And let's compare it with a team that I think had a really, really good start to life. And that's because they have so many fantastic players that they were holding on to. Where is that team? Let's look at team 9 here. I don't know who it's going to be actually belonging to in the grand scheme of things, but let's take a look at their lineup. Justin Field, Jonathan. That's not right. Oh, it's because they get pushed down because they're actually drafted later. But if you kind of read from the bottom up, it's much more interesting. They've got Devin Chan, Khalil Shakir, Brock Purdy, Chase Brown, some great players, Jonathan Taylor, AJ Brown, Chris Olave, Ibuka. They've got some fantastic players. I think that the computer did them dirty this one. But this will be a really interesting league to draft, and I'll keep you posted on that one as well. And that brings us down to the final league I want to talk to you about, the biggest league that I'm in. And this is probably, if you've been pointed this way by me, this is the league that you will have been pointed to for. This is Unheard Audibles. This was previously the League of Collusionary Gentlemen, and then the Hock Tour Tungavailoa Invitational last year. We give naming rights to the winner. The winner this year decided not to do it, and because I change the rule set every year and change the team size, it started out as 8, then went to 12, then 16. It changes every year, so it is an audible. So I called it Unheard Audibles. I thought that was quite a neat little pun there, but yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. It is a standard passing, rushing league. In terms of the lineup, it is PPR. I do have field goals made being a bit more there, but you see it's relatively standard here. But the big thing is it is 16 players. Last year we did it in divisions. I thought that was really interesting. This year we're going to do it straight without divisions. We still have more invites available if people want it. You will be drafting from the back if you do, but without further ado, we've got to decide what the draft order is because it's so close. We don't do reverse order on draft last year because it's such a big league and because the rule sets change every year. Instead, we do a draft lottery. Now, draft lottery is decided based on your position last year. So draft lottery, for those of you who don't know, if you've ever heard of the NBA draft lottery, the worse you do, the more tickets you get. So Rommel comes into the league as new. He gets the most tickets. Yeah, he's not really done this before. I think he's played a couple of years in the past, but not really done much. Andy came last, gets 9. James 8, Ollie 8, Sergio 8. They came in that kind of next grouping. Then you get a few other guys coming into the next grouping. You get things for doing well in other leagues as well. So we do some complimentary stuff for this one with best ball, with pick and leagues and stuff like that. And even down to just off-season activity, I'll throw out random tickets for the Euros, for example. We'll sort of say, like, whoever gets to the Euros correctly gets an extra ticket. But what that leaves you with is going into this, and for the number one slot, you have 101 tickets available because we'd have 100, but we gave away 1 or 2 extras. The person who won it last year, Boz, he has 1 ticket. The person who's coming in from stretch has 10 times the chance of winning. He's got a 9.9% chance of getting the number 1 spot compared to the person who won it last year, who's got a 0.99, less than 1%. So what we do is, and this will be for the record, this will be the draft order that we are going to proceed on. So we're going to generate the order one by one. I'm not going to play any copyrighted music, but drum roll please, and maybe I need to add this in post, but drum roll please. For pick number 1, we have Sven. Oh, wow. So Sven had a 3.76% chance of getting that. I'm going to mark it on my sheet here. So I've got it for prosperity. 3.76% chance, and he gets the number one pick. He also got the number one pick, funnily enough, in the best ball draft as well. So he is riding his luck. Plus, I think he won the league for RWP franchise mode last year. Maybe it was Matt. I can't remember. Either way, well done, Sven. You've got the number one pick. You are on the clock officially. At pick number 2, who's it going to be? Rommel's gone up to 10%, so he's got the best chance. It is indeed Rommel, so that puts the cats amongst pigeons a little bit. He had 10 tickets compared to everyone else's less. So compared to Boz, who was a 1% chance, he goes through with a 10% chance here. Now, pick number 3, and he's a newbie, so that's a good position to play in. He'll be playing strong there. Pick number 3 is Matt. Matt, wow. Had a 6.9% chance of getting it there. He is through. Well done, Matt. Pick number 3. Pick number 4 is going to be James. James Salt. Well done. 9.8% chance. He had second most tickets here. This is feeling really bad for Andy. He's now up to 12.3% compared to some people who is at 1.3. Just enough in it there. I come in clutch with the pick number 5. We'll see how that goes. I'm not doing the drum roll now. I'm just going to get through these. Previously, what I was kind of sitting mid-table there, but that obviously pushes everyone else's chances up here. Boz is still languishing with a 1.52% chance of getting this pick. Let's see what happens, because obviously it resets after everyone. I could do some complex maths around that. I'm not going to. Harry instead gets pick 6 here. Have I got this right? Have I put people twice? I put Rommel twice. That's why. That's silly of me. Harry instead gets pick number 6. He previously had, let's have a quick look. He previously had a 9% chance of getting that. Yeah, this feels pretty even for him. The par being about 13% here right now. Andy with a 15% chance of getting pick number 7, and he doesn't. Ollie gets it with a 13% chance, gets in there just in time. Is it going to be the case that Andy, drafting from the second strongest lottery position, is going to end up at the last pick? He's at 17.3% now. Boz scraping against the 2% barrel. Who's it going to be? It's going to be Andy. He does it. Once you get it, 17.3% chance. He finally cracks it. Mid-table obscurity at pick number 8. Pick 9. My brother Ben gets it. Previously, he had a decent chance, 18% chance. Now that this is getting very varied now. Serge, Ben had an 18% chance. The average is about 15 to 20% chance of getting it. Boz still at 3% chance. He's very likely to get the pick 16. Let's see if he breaks that streak and manages to get the luck for pick number 10. Jack gets it. Jack F gets it. 22% chance, sitting with 8 tickets there. Sergio in by far ahead in the lead in potential for pick number 11, and it is going to go to Sergio. As we said, the odds start playing a little bit here now. We're left down to the final 5 or 6 here. 5 here. We are sitting with Mike with a 31% chance of getting the next pick with 6. John and Dan with 26% chance, and Ed and Boz with 10 and 5% chance respectively. Pick number 12 goes to Boz. Boz finally cracking it. He breaks the odds here. 5.2% chance. His odds getting this far down. Silly. Now it gets a bit more even, so we'll just rattle through these last through. Pick 13 is going to be Mike. He had a 33% chance of getting that. Well done, Mike. And then pick 14 is going to be Ed, 16.7 for him, and now it's a 50% chance between John and Dan. Dan gets 15 and John gets 16. So well done, everybody. For those of you listening, I don't know if you're cheering along or if this has been a good good spectator sport, but we've got a lot of positions to go through there. Sven, Rommel, Matt, James, Sam, Harry, Ollie, Andy, Ben, Jack, Sergio, Boz, Mike, Ed, Dan, and John on the screen, as you can see it. I will be putting that into the league shortly after this is published. So, and I thought, while I'm here, why not? I'm just going to go and do one really, really quick draft. I'm probably just going to do the first 5 or 10 picks, so see how that goes, and let the rest of it go on there, because I need to get out of here before the 45-minute mark. So we've got 7 minutes left. Let's see how far we can get to. Drafting from the 8. And we see early doors in this format. it's obvious. It's a relatively straightforward format. Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, Barkley, Robinson, Puka Nakua, CeeDee Lamb, Gibbs, and then I'm left with a choice. I think the options for me here, Amon-Ra St. Brown seems very obvious here. I would have liked Puka Nakua. I would like a running back as well, but I think I only have to play one running back, so I'm going to go with the PPR machine. That is Amon-Ra St. Brown. Brian Thomas goes just after. Malik Neighbors, Derek Henry, Nico Collins, Genty, Brown, A.K.A, Bowers, and then on the turn we've got London, McCaffrey, Irving, LaMcConkey, Lamar Jackson in the second. That's brave. Kyron Williams, Jamar Jacobs, and Josh Allen. You can see it goes down quick. This is a tight end Premier League, but I'm not going to go after Trey McBride because I think that's going to ruin my team. I think I need to go in the middle rounds. You need to be flexible, so I'm going to go running back of some variety. I am quite high on Jonathan Taylor, more so than I am on Chase Brown. Yes, I'm going a little bit by ADP here. I'm just going to see who else is available. Further down, it drops off quite quickly. So I'm going to go with Jonathan Taylor as my second pick. I think in this kind of format, you need to remain flexible. Make sure you don't hammer yourself on the onesie positions. It is a third round reversal, so it goes back after the team one has picked as well. After me went Trey McBride, as expected, JSN, Higgins, Brown, Hill, Wilson, Hall, and switch Jaden Daniels early in the third. And again, this is double the amount of players that some of you guys will be playing with. So there's the pickings get quite thin quite quick. And if you miss a run on a certain position, you are doomed. Kittle goes, Burrow goes. It looks like there's been a little bit of run on quarterback. I'm interested in Jalen Hurts, but I like some of the league winners later down. Rashid Rice is not interesting to me. Maybe I will go Jalen Hurts actually, because I think that could be really interesting to play with because he's such a safe floor there. Who's going to be coming back to me? Jameson Williams, Patrick Mahomes, maybe. Interested in both of those guys. But I think I just need to fill out the flex spots. And I think taking a number one with some guaranteed production coming from Aaron Rodgers, I'm going to be looking at DK Metcalf. I think he could be a league winner this year. I'm really interested in him. Well, I am also interested in James Conner. He's not coming back to me. I think by this position, there are more wide receiver options later on. So I think I'm going to have to reach a little bit and go and get James Conner for my third slot. Jonathan Taylor, James Conner, and Amon-Ra Brown to start off my draft. I'll do a couple more rounds and see how this works out. Joe Mixon, Ken Walker, Marion Hampton. Yeah, I'm glad I went for a running back there because the run went and I'm left with some options here. I like Sam Laporta, actually. Sam Laporta is kind of like the end of my tier break, although Travis Kelce's there. He might come back. Mark Andrews is interesting. Evan Ingram. I think Sam Laporta is probably at the top of my list, but I have got Amon-Ra St. Brown, so I'm going to discount him. If I had my tiers up, I would be referencing that one. I do like JMO, but again, I've got the guy who is going to be ahead of him. I'm going to take a look at Jalen Waddle or Chris Olave. Now, Chris Olave, I've talked quite a lot about. He's a great wide receiver 3 in your lineup, but I'm going to take him and see what happens. I won't do commentary over the next couple of picks that go after me, but I'm really happy with my first 4 here, and let's just see what the 5th round gives me. A lot of those players that I've talked about just went here. Patrick Mahomes goes, leaving me facing down the barrel of, let's see if it works. It does. Leaves me facing down the barrel of Travis Kelce, who I will pick up. So my first 5 picks in this round would be Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jonathan Taylor, Connor, Olave, Travis Kelce. It does drop off pretty quickly, but that's what happens in these drafts. And that, guys, I'm going to pause the draft there. I might do it offline and just send it out and see what you guys think from the 8 slot. I would prefer to be at one of either end. So I get a bit more of a turn, but being in the middle, you can then switch the play a little bit, and it's interesting to see that happen. When I went for Connor, there was a big old run on running backs thereafter because people have to react to what's happening in the middle of the draft, and that's something that you should always be aware of. React to what happens in the draft, but don't get tilted. But that's enough, guys. That was the league tour. We've gone through so many. We've gone through 3 dynasty teams, including one of those being Devi and one of those being IDP. We've gone through I can't remember, a number of different redrafts, keeper leagues, all the kinds of crazy stuff. Ones where you can keep up to 5. This one we've got 16 players. We've done the live draft order. Hopefully this has been a full packed episode. You've had 2 mini mock drafts as well to whet your appetite as well. But all I can say is thank you so much again for listening. As always, I really do appreciate if you want to share subscribe, all that kind of fun stuff. You can support us, follow us at all the socials at Rugby with Pads. Go support the podcast monetarily if you want to as well, for as little as £1 a month. We put some stuff out on there during the season as well, and you can get yourself some cheap merch. I like the one I'm wearing at the moment, discounted if you have a membership, at rugbywithpads.com. Sorry, I forgot to say, or you can just support buy us a coffee. It's all run off that as well. Thank you so much for listening. I'm really looking forward to draft season. As you can probably tell, I will be doing full mock drafts for every single one. Plus, I will be doing a perfect draft for each one of your positions in the league. Well, not each 12, but start, middle, and end. That'll be all to look forward to in the future. But without further ado, I'll let you go. And just want to say thank you once more. And I will see you very soon on the virtual